Hi, Festu. We're going to give this a shot and show you how we dye fabric. We're not pros. This is how we do it. So,
welcome to my kitchen.
Yep. I'm Jeanette.
I'm Heather.
And first we're going to show you what our supplies are.
Yeah.
Yep. Basically, we use the liquid. We use the liquid RIT. We use
the all-purpose. The synthetic works too.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah.
Yeah. The ball jar, mayonnaise jar, whatever you want to use. It has a lid that tightens down really tight because we shake ours up.
Wide mouth. Are they all wide mouth? I don't think so.
Wide
mouth makes it a lot easier.
It makes it a little bit easier. We have skewers to stir our dye with.
Lots of paper towels.
Lots of paper towels. I use gloves. You don't have to.
I don't.
Because I like to stick my finger in there and the water's really hot. I bought these today. I normally don't use a pitcher, but all my stuff is packed. So I just picked up these little, I don't know, Rubbermaid pitchers from Walmart. And
we have our own designated mixing spoons for when we do our dye.
You don't have to measure like that. We don't really measure. We're more parts than like a half teaspoon or whatever. So
the only reason I measure is just so if I come up with one that I really like, then I know what I did.
Yeah, because our first fabrics we just dumped, and so we really couldn't tell everybody what colors they were.
And we use a half a teaspoon and a quarter teaspoon.
Yep. And then almost always. So we've got.
Show that a little bit closer.
We're doing 28 count Monaco. That's the linen, like a
Belfast.
A 32 count Belfast.
That's what all this is.
This is going to be for Lantern Lane that I want to do. I picked up some Ada because someone wanted to see how that dyes.
And where's that check? Oh, there we go.
Oh, and we're going to do the gray check. Heather did the tan check, and now we're going to over dye that in a gray.
So. Yeah, I did a tea dye on the tan one last time.
Yeah.
For my Jack-o'-lantern Jubilee.
Yeah.
And I
think
that's it. And very, very hot water.
Very, very hot water. When I do it at home, sometimes I'll do a pot of boiling water and just keep using that one. I don't necessarily keep it boiling or anything. I heat it up pretty good.
And I just use my scalding hot tap water.
We do not use any kind of salt or fixative because we're not rewashing the fabric. So I have never had it. We don't wash it. So we rinse them clear and we cross stitch on it. So someone was asking if we put a fixative in it, and we do not. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. It's the way we do it. So
yeah.
We are going to, how do you want to do this?
I think we're going to start with our regular color. Our normal Kelly green and evening blue one that we do.
Well, I want to do the evening blue and taupe for mine. So.
Well, we're doing 4 different colors.
Yeah, we're going to try to do 4 different colors. We're going to do a gray, the green and evening blue, the evening blue and a taupe.
And then I want to do a funky green called Mermaid Tail. Oh, I wanted to show you that. Show you guys that.
We're trying to get this set up. It's kind of difficult. We're using the iPad, so it's got to sit up there. So hopefully you can see a little bit.
Here, I'm going to scoot over here. So if you go on, I just Google RIT Dye Colors Chart. You can go to their website, and they have a whole color formula chart, which is awesome. This is what their initial search looks like. And you can go in there and I select all purpose on here. And then I go to colors and you can select whatever you're wanting to dye. Oops. And I went to greens earlier. Oops, not purple. Ooh. And it'll give you a whole list of color squares if you're wanting to have a specific recipe from them. And a lot of these colors, you have to have a lot of water to... Oh, that's Mermaid Tail that I want to do. I always switch this item size to smaller because I don't need enough to dye a pair of jeans or curtains or whatever.
And when we first did it, we were doing it in buckets.
5-gallon buckets.
Yeah, and that is just... it's kind of why we didn't love to do it.
Yeah.
It's messy and
So it gives you the recipe for 4 cups of water. And if you wanted this dark, I'm not going to do it this dark. We're going to water it down. But yeah, most of their colors you can make smaller. Some of them are so strong you do have to do them in a bigger, like a 5-gallon batch. But that's a good website to go to if you're looking for color inspiration.
so we might have a little helper here off and on. That's Evelyn. You want to say hi? So when I do mine, I always I wet my fabric first. So
Yes.
I'm gonna do that. I just kind of rinse it in the sink with, whatever, warm water. I think that if you don't do that, your dye will grab differently in the jar. So that's why I do it. I think it helps it kind of bleed in a little bit better instead of having like stark lines. So I just wet it just like that. And I'll go ahead and show you how I stick it in the jar because I have to hold it up. So I just wet it and then I just stick it in here. That's all I do. This is an 18 by 27 piece of 32 count linen. I actually got that at Aquamarine. So that one's ready to have the dye come in it. And so what colors are we going to do first?
Kelly green and evening blue.
Okay, so is that this one that you're going to do? The bigger piece?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to wet this one for Heather.
Make sure you shake up your dye really, really good.
And it gets these little crumbly things that are they probably would definitely leave a mark. We're okay with that. It's almost like little sandy, dried out pieces of dye. But try not to get those on your fabric because they're definitely going to leave a mark if you do. So this one's going to be Heather. And I just shove it in the jar. I love this method because it's not very messy. I mean, I'm getting water all over, but that's okay. Yeah. So there's that. So I'll let you show them how you mix it together.
So for our normal color, we do a 1/2 teaspoon Kelly green. You see it? See? I'm touching, okay. That.
It's not so green,
It is so green.
but the curry not so green.
And I'm replacing all my countertops and my sink, so I'm not being particularly careful. But this will stain your stuff. So be careful if you have, white countertops or white. If you have fancy kitchen or a kitchen you don't want stained up, just put something down.
And our new house.
I mean, I do rinse it out of my sink and I've never had an issue.
No, not with stainless. It works pretty good. I am putting a stainless sink in my new house in the utility room so I can dye.
Yeah. And then I have a 1/4 cup evening blue. And I have a utility sink
A
too.
1/4
That'd be good.
teaspoon, not a 1/4 cup.
So sorry. 1/4 teaspoon evening blue.
Yeah. You want to hold the other gloves? There you go. Yes.
So if you're doing a bigger batch or a smaller batch, it's 1 part evening blue to 2 parts Kelly green.
Yeah.
Or if you just don't want to measure and you want to use a cap or whatever.
And that's the aqua that we stitch on a lot. And so now that about halfway through is
A quart.
a quart. I would go a little bit higher than that because when I mix it up, usually I do that. Now Heather's going to have a blue finger now.
What do I care?
And we use these to stir the dye just so there's no... I mean, you wouldn't have to. You can experiment and have fun with it, but... You can tell already it's like the perfect aqua color.
A little bit more. So that right there would fill one of those quart jars to the top with nothing else in it. I actually want to go lighter than our normal color, so I'm going to dilute it with more water. So I will just fill this a little bit more to thin out the color that way versus changing our recipe of how much dye we put in there.
Because we know that we like that color.
Yeah.
And she can also just,
Dunk. I could dunk and
Yeah.
do it quickly.
but this way she'll have a little bit more time.
And I can always dye it again if I wanted it a little bit darker.
I tend to like to shake the jar quite a few times, so then I don't have a lot of modeling because we only like very steady modeling.
Or weird pockets.
What did you find? Do you know how it opens up on the top? And you can kind of
You can see that it's lighter.
It's much lighter and very aqua. So she's going to pour it in the jar. Here's the jar.
Can you help it?
Oops.
Well, no, this one's kind of messy and you'll turn green if it gets on you.
Why?
Because it's dye and we don't really want you to turn green. That'd be a lot, wouldn't it? Oh, see, that's going to be perfect.
Yeah, you do want to leave a little space at the top so you can shake it.
I use the skewer and poke around.
Yeah.
So, and then just add a little bit more water or whatever.
I have had issues with having weird pockets if I don't move it around a lot. And I mean, if you're a little bit nervous about doing it, I like dyeing smaller pieces of fabric when I haven't done it in a while to kind of get the hang of it. So
Can
maybe
you see
if you're
what you're
testing it
doing?
out, get a small, oh sorry, I'm just poking that around in there. It's hot,
Mm-hmm.
so hot.
And so how light do you want that?
That light.
That light?
But-
Okay, so...
Well, no, I want it to sit in here for a
Okay,
while.
so put the lid on really good.
So I'm stirring it around, making sure there's pockets are getting dye in them. I have fingerprints left after this.
Well, that's why mostly I wear the gloves because we use super hot water and it's kind of protects your hands a little bit.
I'm trying to go wimp.
Do you not shake yours up at all?
Yeah, I do.
Oh, okay. So make sure your lid's on super, super tight.
And shake it.
And shake it. So I'm gonna mix up the next color so we can just keep this moving.
And you can see the color that it's starting to turn already a little bit. It's a little greener in person. We'll try and get good pictures afterwards of the actual colors, but
Also keep in mind that it lightens up as it dries. Just like, I mean, not a lot, but it does do that. Yep. So I am gonna do, yeah, one part because I find that evening blue is very intense. So I'm gonna do one part
okay.
evening blue,
That's all there is. For right now.
and I'm gonna do two parts taupe. Because I really liked that color the last time I did it.
They're safe for after dinner, okay?
It's very close to what Heather's doing. So one,
Can we turn Mickey Mouse?
so two parts of taupe. I do try to remember to close these up like right away so we don't accidentally make a horrible mess. So that on, put that on, and I'm gonna actually just fill it up barely over the 1 quart line. Just hot water. I do usually use a little bit of boiling water, but you can tell it's a little bit more intense than the color Heather did. And we'll see how it looks. So, pour it in my... Can you see that?
Yep.
Oops. I don't know. This is kind of blue.
Pay attention to how much time this is.
Right now we're not really timing it, I
No.
guess, because you want yours light anyway,
Yeah.
so. just the evening blue and taupe, and hers is way more aqua. So, and I just usually, I would say mine, I don't know, anywhere from 15 minutes
To a half an hour.
To a half hour,
Yeah.
depending on what you want. This seems to be very dark today.
Mine, I'm done. I'm gonna get this out now
Okay, so
and rinse this because I want it light.
I actually may add a little bit of Kelly Green to this because I'm not really loving it, but we'll see.
You can see the color. It's really, really pretty.
It's really beautiful.
And it will be lighter when it dries.
I'll rinse it because I got gloves on.
Yeah.
So, and we just rinse it till it runs clear, basically. I think there's like a white spot in the middle, but not super white.
Oh.
No? You don't
Where's the
like
white
that?
spot?
Right there. Just ever so light.
Oh, like modeling, not like a bubble.
Oh, no.
Okay.
So I tend to stick mine in a bowl. I think it helps to rinse it out a little bit more.
Because it saturates
Yeah, it
it.
saturates it quicker. I mean, you can run it under scalding hot, steamy. Oh my gosh, it's hot in here. Kind of. Yeah. Our weather is much cooler, so
Yes.
that's nice. And I just rinse it until it basically runs clear. So it's going to be really pretty. So I don't know if they want to see us rinsing and rinsing.
So we'll rinse that until it comes clear.
Yeah.
We will
I
get,
just fill it up and keep rinsing it until it's clear.
we'll have her sit for a half an hour and then we'll be back.
We're back.
We're back. We have the fabric that I dyed in the Kelly Green and Evening Blue. It is still wet. It's been rinsed. I had it out on the clothesline for
20 minutes.
20 minutes or so. We don't bake ours to dry it. Sometimes I will throw it in there just if I'm being impatient, but I just typically will put it out on the clothesline and let it dry.
Or you can hit it with an iron too.
And then I finish, I finish it up with an iron. But if you do put it in the oven,
Watch it.
don't forget about it because you can burn it and it will make it, it can make it a little bit darker. And if you want more modeling, you can do it that way.
And that actually has a
But
beautiful modeling
it does.
to it.
You can kind of see. We'll try and get some good pictures. That's a good representative of it right there. Just a nice pale aqua. I kind of wanted something close to the
And it will lighten up.
Mhm, it
will
will.
lighten up. So
to the fabric that I have my Santa that I'm stitching on. I wanted something like that, so now I have something like that. And then we took that leftover dye from that batch and stuck the 14 count Ada in there too to show you guys the difference between the two.
see the Ada's a little bit lighter.
Yep.
It's showing much lighter there, but it's not that much lighter.
I can get it to.
There we go. So it just takes the dye a little bit different. We did exactly the same thing.
5 minutes in the dye.
We left them in the same amount of time. I ended up leaving my piece in 10 minutes.
10 minutes, not 30.
And it's hanging right now outside just to drip out a little bit, and we'll show you that in a little bit. So
These turned out really pretty.
they did.
So again, it's 1 part Kelly Green, 2 parts,
one part
1 part Evening Blue, 2 parts Kelly Green. And so for us,
And
that was half a teaspoon of Kelly Green to a 1/4 teaspoon of Evening Blue, and it was 2 quarts of water that I mixed up and then just poured over a quart of it over the top of the wet fabric for 5 minutes to get this nice light aqua color.
And I'm going to do another batch of that with a little bit less water for the Monaco piece that we have. But I think the next one we're going to do is we're going to try to do a gray. So this is the check, the 32 count check from Hobby Lobby. So I'm going to wet it like we've been doing. Same way. I don't know if it has sizing or anything in it, so I just want that out of it. And I know I've seen other people dye, and when they dip their dry fabric in it, it accepts the dye way different than when it's wet. So I just kind of prefer a more blended look. So that's all wet. So We just rinse the jars out. We're not, I don't know, picky about it. So I'm gonna stick that in there. And Heather, what do you normally do with Pearl Grey?
Sorry, I just spilled my water.
Was it just water?
Well, with Pearl Grey, I add taupe to it because Pearl Grey, to me, dyes quite purple, like a lavendery purple.
Yeah, it is purple. And
It reads really purple in our houses.
So we're going to do 1 part Pearl Grey. We're half a teaspoon of that to, 1 part of taupe, maybe?
Yes.
So we're just going to do equal and we'll see what that looks like.
And I've only ever done that on, to like correct a color that I've already had, like a gray fabric that we bought that I didn't love. I changed it that way.
So we're just going to do half and half. See what it looks like. Yeah, it does, Pearl Grey tends to go pretty purple, which is not our color, so. And then I'm just going to fill it up to about the quart line. I don't want it necessarily really dark. Just kind of over dye it a little bit. Fill it up with hot water. About the quart line, and I'm going to see what happens.
I'm gonna iron these real quick.
I should have stirred that up a little bit, but whatever.
Because it's a good surface to do it on right now.
It doesn't seem, it's very light. The gray is very light compared to what the other colors are. What do you think? In the dye? That evening blue is so dark.
It is. It's very concentrated.
It's very concentrated. So I'm just going to let it sit in here for a while. And you can already see that it's turning a little bit gray.
How dark are you wanting it?
I don't know. I'm going to let it sit. So I'm just going to shake it around about every couple minutes just to make sure that it's not getting all...
I think it'll be pretty.
I think so too. I think that's going to be really cool. You can kind of tell. So we'll keep doing that. So...
I don't want to try this the white.
Do you want to? Too late. Did you want a gray? I didn't think you wanted gray.
Maybe later. I talk about that. Yeah, no, I definitely want to
So
try.
she's gonna. Do you want to mix up your mermaid?
Yeah, I'm gonna try my mermaid too. For a fun.
And I'll just. I think this is actually going to be subtle enough that
Sorry, we're not professional tutorials.
we're not. We're not. And we have our little helper down here below on the floor. She's doing her thing. It's actually kind of, well, I can't tell you. It's actually going to be very cool. So I'm just gonna, I'm going to keep that in there for a while. Stir up your
So
dye.
I'm gonna give. Whoa, man, that is not reading the color that it reads on here. Honestly, it's kind of a little bit my shirt color that I'm kind of going for.
It kind of is, yeah.
It's going to be 2 teaspoons Kelly green to a 1/4 teaspoon tan. And then I'm going to really dilute it because I kind of want a funky green.
2 teaspoons to what? To a 1/4? Is that what it was? It's a lot of dye.
Mm-hmm.
So you could do 1 to an 1/8.
Yeah, we'll do that. 1 teaspoon Kelly green to an 1/8 teaspoon tan. And then I'll do a quart of water, see how kind of thick that's looking, and decide from there.
Do I smell something hot?
It's my iron.
Oh, okay.
Back to me.
Are you going to put your gloves on?
So I'm doing 1 teaspoon Kelly green.
I really love Kelly green. It's such a pretty color.
It is pretty.
Oh, there's teal in it also, right?
Mm-mm.
Or no? Okay, that was the other one.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I'm kind of interested to see how it's going to turn
And
out.
1/8 of a teaspoon of tan, which also is really green.
Nope, that's wrong one.
Just kidding, that's taupe.
But it is very
Yeah.
green looking. Okay, so I'm gonna help her with
Sorry,
that.
my daughter's dragging a chair across the floor right now.
Here, how about, okay, so let's move it like that, a little bit quieter. That picks up on the video, man. Where do you want it? Let's not push it, because we can hear it on the video. Because it's really loud.
So I'm just using a 1/4 teaspoon and just
Where do you want to put it?
winging it for half of that.
Where do we put it in there on the rug, or stop moving it?
Yeah.
Okay, here, I'll move it into here on the rug. It'll be a little bit quieter in here, okay? Okay.
And I'm filling it up to the 1 quart mark to see how dark that looks. And then I mix, and that's really dark. I don't want it that dark, so I'm gonna do probably another 1/2 quart to see. And you can also kind of test out a color on a paper towel. Have you shown them that at all?
Yeah, let's do that. Ooh,
That color?
that's definitely mermaidy. If in doubt, just stick a, that's the color of her shirt. So you can do that too. In fact, I do this a lot when I'm trying a new color.
I also use, if I have white on white scrap, like quilting fabric, I've done that before too. Kind of turns out cool that way. So I have a little piece,
Shake it.
because this is a little crazy. I don't know if I want to commit to a big piece.
And if you're afraid to throw your expensive cross stitch fabric in first, get a piece, just cheap muslin. And
That's
try
what I'm
that.
saying, my scrap
Yeah.
white cotton.
Because I get it, because it's like $15 for a piece of fabric.
If
so.
you have a piece that you finish and you maybe cut it down, like a white piece, and you've cut it down when you were doing your FFO or whatever, keep those little
Yeah,
scraps
save
because
them.
you can dye, you can test dye that way. You're very busy this afternoon. Do we have an unused jar?
Right there's clean. It's fine.
Have my wet fabric in there?
And it's definitely not going to take a whole bunch of. Definitely cover your fabric for sure. Wow, that's going to be green. But that's kind of cool.
It's a tiny piece.
Yep. Almost like a mint, actually. I mean, it doesn't look like that in the water, but it's very minty.
Ooh.
Yikes! Ooh. It's very minty. Dude, you're going to trickle.
Really
from this heat.
is.
Do you want to put a little bit of blue in there or something?
Right.
Or do you want to try it? You know, though, that's a lot like the color you did for the Veronique on that one, isn't it?
No, that's that same aqua I did
Oh,
the
is it?
Santa on, yeah. So that would look cool.
Cool. Yeah, I think it's kind of cool. Yeah, eek!
Well, my thought was I wanted a green for Mr. Marshmallow by Brenda Gervais.
Actually, I kind of like it.
I kind of like it.
Go darker.
You think so?
Yeah, go
well,
a
this
little
is
bit
a littler piece.
Yeah.
I would need to do a big piece for Mr. Marshmallow. We're going to leave this in here for a little bit.
Eek!
And let you guys know how that turns out.
I don't know, it's kind of mermaidy.
Yeah. It's definitely not at all like the color on their website. But I've cut it with water.
And you're looking on your phone.
And yeah, so.
So what kind of fabric is that? Lugana?
Nope, that's 32 count. Yes, 32 count Lugana
Okay.
from just 1, 2, 3 stitch.
Hey man, that's grandma's glove. Here, why don't you take this one? You can
What's
take
this?
that one because I'm not using it.
Why?
Isn't that what you just mixed
Oh, yeah.
up?
Where should I dump this? Down this one? Right
I
in the
would,
middle?
yeah, in the middle.
We're having plumbing issues.
Plumbing
so not
issues,
fun.
so don't really want mermaid tail to become rinsing out onto the floor. So
I have a very old house, 70 years old now.
Oh my gosh, it is.
60?
Yeah. I don't know. 60s? It's at least 60 years old. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna do, what am I gonna do?
We're gonna do the one that I did, the very light, the evening blue and Kelly green, our recipe for that, but we're gonna not water it down.
Right, because I
as
want
much.
to do a gingerbread.
We want
on
to do a
it,
darker
so-
version of that, and we're doing that on 28 count Monaco.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna do my gingerbread. A little gingerbread. I can't remember. It was a little house.
And that color also tea dyes really nicely too. Do you want me to hold you?
I need my glasses.
Can you?
Okay, so
Wanna watch what Grandma does?
let's see. This is a quarter teaspoon. I'm gonna do a half a teaspoon of the Kelly green. Same color we always use. I wonder what it'd be like if we added a little bit of taupe.
Might as well experiment.
More green, probably, because it's very green.
Yes.
So I don't want that.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna do
Maybe we'll do that afterwards.
1 part. That's true. Maybe a little over on 1 part. Oh well. Uh-oh. Holy moly. I gotta get this water hot, so it's gonna be
Ooh,
loud
that
for a
is
second.
green.
Oh, wow.
We just like to experiment.
Yeah. We kind of stay around the same colors. 'Cause
Yeah.
that's kind of, what we do, but
But I did that on a small piece because I figured I can always do like just a fun little like a stitching with the housewives mug pattern or not on that probably because I don't want like a Halloween.
I'm
You
gonna
could do a
throw some
Halloween
taupe.
event.
I'm gonna put a quarter teaspoon of taupe in this too. So we'll give it a shot. So they're all around the same color, but we don't want all our stuff the same color, right? So it was about a quarter of a teaspoon of evening blue, quarter teaspoon of taupe, and like we said, that's kind of greeny. I don't really understand how dye works, but and then a half a teaspoon of the Kelly green. And this time I am gonna mix it up because I forgot with the gray, which is very cool. It's a very cool gray. So let me do that, and I'm gonna wet the Monaco and burn myself. Uh-oh. Now it's gonna have blue in the middle because I had blue dye on my glove. Whatever. It will be fine. But that's how quick it grabs. It was just on my glove. So, stick it in there. So we're gonna have a meltdown now. Anyway, I'm gonna pour this in here and we'll be back.
Yeah. We'll be right back.
So this has been sitting in here for about 15 minutes, so I'm going to start rinsing that. Heather's drying a few things. It actually looks fine on there, but in person it is a lot. And I actually rinsed out the gray. It's very subtle.
This fabric does not take the dye
Easily. put it
easily.
that way.
It
So-
kind of takes the dye the same way, or even a little bit less than Ada. We've noticed.
So I'm going to let it dry, and we'll see. We'll see what we end up doing with that. But I am going to rinse this out. It's been in there for, like I said, about 15 minutes. Hopefully no more
Meltdown.
meltdowns, but you never know. She's 2. This is pretty dark. And I'm going to rinse it. Did you want to show them the other fabrics we did?
Yeah.
So this was like a half a teaspoon of Kelly green, half a teaspoon of, a quarter teaspoon of evening blue and a quarter teaspoon of taupe.
Okay, so here is the Ada.
Uh-oh.
It's still not completely dry.
I'm not so good.
Drama? Oh, you're not all good?
She's not
She's a drama queen. She's Ada. It's still not completely dry, but that'll probably be about the color that it dries.
Yeah, I would say that's
Yeah.
very close. You have to hold them up together, and she's very dramatic.
There's a lot today.
Well, I'm not.
Grandma brought her
You are a
M&Ms,
lot.
and
Here, not a lot.
Grandma brought her first M&Ms, so Heather thinks that maybe messed with her mom.
There are, and we'll have them after dinner.
Yeah, remember?
Where's that at?
They
They're
I don't
put
know.
away.
That's in here.
So is Grandma the best for bringing you M&Ms?
What's in here?
Oh, there's pepitas in there. Remember? So this was the evening blue.
I'm not asking you.
Gosh, that is not
I'm
gonna
not
show up
asking
very.
you yet.
You're not asking me something?
No.
Okay, rude one. So I'm gonna put it. So there. That's the color we do all the time, just in different.
See, same,
Yep.
but just more water on these.
Yep. And this is on 28 count Monaco. Because I want this for some Christmas stuff for my kitchen. So
And this is
And that'll
32
dry out.
count, Monaco.
yeah. Same recipe, just different amounts of water. No, that's not true. Didn't I put Taupe in this? I
Yeah.
did put half teaspoon of Taupe. Sorry, but
Very similar recipe though.
yeah. I mean, you can tell that it's
Yeah.
the same. So.
And that's the 14 count Ada.
So the first one I did, we dried it. It was evening blue and taupe. I really love this color. It's really pretty. So it's blue. It's a little bit more aqua in person, but so there's the blue. And that's dry, so that's pretty good. That's actually showing up really good right there. So was there anything else that you needed to say?
I'm going to play around with this green.
And she's gonna, are you gonna do it right now?
Yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit of aquamarine in there. It might be atrocious and it might end up in the garbage. But
This is our favorite color though,
Okay,
and I
just a
like to
minute.
do it. So I'm gonna go hang this on the line and take the baby that's being dramatic, and Heather can talk. You wanna go out back with me so I can hang this up?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna try a little less than 1/4 of a teaspoon of the aquamarine to add to this green. It's not showing as bright, but I mean it's like
Come here, Heather.
electric lime in person.
What do you want there, Heather? Our grandma's gonna go in. What? Grandma's gonna go in the front. Well, you can stay on the patio though, because we don't have shoes, okay?
Let's see what that does to it.
We'll finish up the video and then maybe we can go out front.
That might tone it down a little bit. I'm gonna leave that in there probably for quite a long time. Probably for about a half an hour.
Oh, that's
Just because I did a really light
Fish or
amount of aquamarine.
yeah, don't stick your foot.
Aquamarine goes a long, long way.
with my you down. I do that.
Okay, but not barefooted.
And then for this one, I probably just will show you guys an update on our next floss tube video. That's already looking a lot better.
It is kind of breezy, isn't it? Yeah.
Okay.
Too chilly.
So let's go inside.
So, just to recap,
I
With our normal.
Milk.
okay, just a minute.
What do you do?
1
Hi.
part Evening glue to 2 parts Kelly green, and then you just cut it with water to lighten it.
And I added that little bit of taupe, and I really love that color. That's going to be really pretty, and we'll show that on our
floss too.
on our floss too.
And then the rest is in the rest of the video. They've been put away. So thank you for bearing with us.
You can see how easy it is.
Yes.
We have a 2-year-old running around and just jumping in.
Not a great setup for this, but you get the gist. I'm also going to play around with speckling some paint on this. So if that goes well, we might just do like a follow-up video later on or something, or I can explain that on my next floss tube video.
Probably when Dad's around. So
yes, because this is not easy with a 2-year-old.
But it's okay.
Yeah. So if you have any questions about that, just let us know below, or you can email us at our email address at craftycottagestitches@gmail.com.
That's about
I
it.
don't know. I don't think there's really any other colors we do. I mean, we experiment. We just like, well, let's add a little taupe, add a little tan, and it just changes it a little bit. But a lot of our base is that 1 part evening glue to 2 parts Kelly green, I would say.
And that's our go-to colors. So.
Haven't found a great gray yet, but we'll let you know.
I think we're gonna have to experiment on some just cotton fabric and then go from there. So
Yeah.
all right.
All right.
Let us
That'll
know
be
if
it.
you have
Wanna
questions.
say bye-bye? Say bye-bye. I'm a holy terror. Wait.
You're the cutest holy terror, though. Aren't you?
Bye.
Bye.